everyone, this is my first video on a brand new YouTube channel. My name is Jaden and I'm 10 years old and I absolutely love chess. I started playing when I was 5 and a half and it quickly became one of my favorite things to do when I could. At first, I didn't exactly remember the rules and used to need to cheat to win. But now I can see tactics and strategies that would have blown my mind back then. Chess has taught me so much about thinking, being patient, and never giving up, even when I'm losing. This channel is for everyone. Whether you're a complete beginner who's never touched a chess piece, or you're already pretty good and want to get even better, this channel is for you. Here's what I'll be covering: educational speedruns online, cool puzzles, openings, and maybe even variants of chess. Chess isn't just about being smart. It's about being creative, brave, and learning from every single game you play. Some of my best games came right after my worst losses. So if you love chess or you're curious about learning, hit that subscribe button and like the video if you like the content. Remember, every chess master was once a beginner and every expert was once terrible at chess. The only difference was that they kept playing, kept learning, and never gave up. So with that said, let's get into the first speedrun from 400 ELO. Okay, looks like we're playing a person who is also unrated. In the opening, you need to control the center, so let's start by moving one of our center pawns. He plays a very weird opening, and this is a good opening for high level chess, but I don't recommend you guys playing. Here the trade is good because his knight is better than mine. Since black has a bad development, we have to quickly attack the center, and here it wins a piece. Okay, that's just a free knight. When you can, you should always stop your opponent from castling because that makes their king safe. So he's trying to attack our queen, so we have to move it away from attack. Okay, he's looking for a trade of queens, and since we're already up by a lot, we could just trade and simplify into a better position. That's also a free rook. Okay, he resigned, and let's game review the game.
You had a nice tactical find in this game. Let's review.
So, as you can see, our opponent had one blunder.
You're now able to win a knight through an eventual fork.
And since we attacked the center, we won a piece with it.
That's playable. You had a nice tactical find in this game. One of my favorite opening moves. It strikes the center and offers several strong follows.
This is called the eval bar, and it tells who's better in the position. As we can see, after black plays this weird opening, we're already a lot better. Okay, our opponent did not play very well that game. Once again, we're white. Here he actually controls the center, so let's just bring out our knights and attack his pawn. This is a classic attack, and he's trying to attack our weak f2 pawn over here. But we could just castle, because then that would have two defenders. Okay, he takes, and it's equal material, but this is a very bad trade for black. Let's get our king back to safety. Here there is a free pawn, but our king's still out wide in the open, so even if it is a good move, I don't think you should ever go for this in a game. He plays c6 trying to attack our bishop, but we can just move it back. This is still a free pawn, and now since there are no other pawns that can attack it, it's a good time to take the pawn. He's asking for a trade, and since you're better, of course we'll take it. Here he tries to take the open file, but there's actually a tactic here that potentially could win us a rook. He tries to trade queens, but here we should still do it because our knights and bishops and rooks are pretty coordinated. Here we have something called the skewer. If two pieces are on the same diagonal or line and they're both being attacked, that is called a skewer. Here there's no way for black to get out of this diagonal, so this wins a piece. When you're playing chess or online, you always have to look at your time. Here we're down a minute, so we should start playing faster. In endgames, you should always bring your king in. He's about to lose this pawn, and now it's an easy win. This is an easily winning endgame because we're up a knight and two pawns. Here you just have to be careful of not stalemating your opponent, which means he has no legal moves and it's not check. Here our opponent actually played a pretty good game with a good opening. As you can see, this was not a good choice by our opponent. From here, the game is practically winning, except for the fact that I have low time. Okay, let's go with the next game. Here we're finally playing black. Even though we're playing black, we should still play normally and control the center. This is a classic beginner's opening, and this is called the Four Knights. This is a completely symmetrical game, but if you continue playing like this, you will definitely lose the game. Now, this may look like a good move because he's attacking our knight, but he moved the piece twice in the opening, which is not good. And since we have a good square for our knight on d4, it's not, we just want a move, which is also called the tempo. Here we have a choice of taking the knight or the bishop. There is a common rule in chess, and it's also a concept called the bishop pair. Two bishops are often better than any other combination of two minor pieces. So here, it's a good idea for us to take the bishop. He takes back with the knight, and here we can't really save the bishop, but we could drop back, and if he takes, we get double pawns, but we get an open file. Interesting. He doesn't take, and I don't know what this is for because he didn't really move the f pawn. So if we wanted to, we could preserve the bishop by playing the move c5 here. But since we haven't developed our bishop on c8, it would be good to develop that. Okay, here he moves his knight black, blocking the queen here. So we could now play this move bishop a5, pinning the knight to the queen for now, and we get to save the bishop here. Now we have to play a lot faster because we're down a minute once again. Here he plays the move a3, trying to kick out our bishop with this next move. So we have to make space for it. So now we could go back here. A common idea in this opening for both sides is to play the move d5 or d4. Now we have the center. Oh, f3 is a blunder because this is called a fork and we win a piece. Here we are winning, so it's okay to give up the bishop pair. It's always a good idea to open up the center if you're winning. Here his king is even more weak than ours, since we have many pieces piling up his king. Here we're threatening to take the knight, but we're also threatening to play rook f2. Here we have to even out the time, and this is also called a pin, and we win the queen by doing that. Here his king is about to get mated, since he has not a lot of squares to go to. Okay. So here our opponent played a decent opening, and if you wanted to, we could go for this, which is also very common, but this is also a move. After this move, white is just losing because of this. Let's start a new game. Here he plays the move d4, and there's two main moves here, this or this. This is preferable for beginners because it is less sharp. This is called the Queen's Gambit, and it's a very common opening, and it involves giving up a pawn for compensation or activity. Here, this is just a free pawn, though. It's also his gambit. And since it's a center pawn, we should probably take it here. He was attacking our pawn, so we had to defend it. Here, white is threatening to take because our knight right now is pinned to our queen. So, we have to play the move bishop b4, pinning their knight. Here he plays the move queen b3, attacking our bishop, but we could just take. It gives up a bishop pair, but at least we're up a pawn. In these d4 openings, it's commonly a good idea to play b6 and bishop b7, which is called a fianchetto, but here white queenside castled, so it's probably not a good idea to do that. This is called opposite sides castling, and when this happens, you should always try attacking your opponent's king. Here he plays the move a4, weakening his own king, and now we could attack the pawn. If he plays the move b3, we could get in with our queen, but first we could go here. He drops back, attacking our knight, but now we could go for a check. Here he plays the move king b1, but it might be a good time to sacrifice a piece here. Now he doesn't take it, which is interesting, but now we have a lot of piece activity. He offers a trade of queens, but we can't avoid that, so let's just go for it. Here, this is an okay endgame for both sides, primarily because white also has good piece activity, but we also do. Now, if white takes the pawn, this will once again be a skewer because of the, but he doesn't. Here, it may seem like the same thing, but white could block with the move knight c4. Here, we're threatening to win a pawn, though. Here, he just blunders the knight and the rook because the knight only had one defender, which was the pawn. And now the same skewer happens again. Here, we don't even have to take the rook, but it's simple, so we could. Here he plays d5, asking for a pawn trade, and we could do it because we're just winning. Now, our plan is to promote this a pawn into a queen, and since it will promote to a queen, which is more than a rook, we could sacrifice the rook for that. Here we could just take this bishop, and what black is crushing. Here, once again, you have to be careful not to stalemate. A tip in online chess is to take all of your opponent's pieces, so when you're completely winning like this, so if you run out of time, that won't count as a loss. Okay, we won this game, and we're still not rated yet, apparently. So here we didn't really have a great game because our opponent played a weird opening once again. But it makes sense because this is a bad move because it just helps white develop a piece. Here we found the wrong idea of sacrificing the piece. Apparently this, because if we go here and here, knight c3 wins a queen somehow. Here white could have attacked our queen, so that's another piece to the defense, and we would have to leave. And since there's no square guarding to guard our knight on e4, then we just lose a piece. Here we're only slightly better. From here on out, it's an easy win because we're just up an entire rook. Okay, guys, so this was the first speed run of the channel, and We played about 5 games and I covered some chess. So if you like these videos, smash that subscribe button and like the video. Now, see you later. Bye.